Hello guys. Many of you probably watched my video last night where I was extremely upset and railed at Trump for bombing Syria. I just couldn't believe, I thought it was the worst mistake ever. Bombing Syria after his campaign. He campaigned against that and the fact that before, when chemical weapons were used in Syria, it always proved out to be the rebels and more of a setup and not Assad. And one of the other things, since then I've listened to a lot of stuff. I'm still mad. I don't agree with it. I think it's dead wrong. Worse than wrong. But I've listened to a lot of rebuttals to that idea. Bill Mitchell, and someone said this a while back, talked about Bill Mitchell's ideology. He's a Trump supporter. That's it. I don't know how much other ideology he has. He's a pure, wholehearted Trump supporter. And if you want to try to get the good points out of this bombing, you can use the whole narrative about making a point to China. The Chinese minister was waiting for Trump for dinner. Trump does this, it makes him look strong. That way China will clamp down on North Korea. I don't buy that this intimidates China in any way, shape, or form. China knows very well that bombing a desert-dwelling people that barely have vehicles is a total different story than bombing China. It doesn't intimidate them. It doesn't work. It does show something to the world that he's willing to act. I'm not saying that Trump can't spin this and use this. I think he could. I think it could go in the right direction. It's possible. I'm against it, but I think it could be used. Definitely neocons and people that barely supported Trump but voted for him, it helps them. Most of those are very bloodthirsty. They don't know they are. They think they're very legitimate, decent Americans, but they have this desire to attack people, other countries, and slaughter them and put them in their place. They believe that America has the right at a whim to bomb anybody if they disagree. Well, the whole point is there's a lot of countries whose civilians are being treated just as bad, maybe worse than Syria. There's dozens of them. I can't even name them all, but North Korea is a perfect example. Vietnam, I'm sure their people aren't being treated that great. Many northern African countries. There's all kinds of stuff going on. What about all the Christians killed all over the Middle East, slaughtered mercilessly, and no one did anything to protect them? Not a single thing. What about that? And then you have 70 people die in a chemical attack and you want to bomb? But you had millions of, tens of thousands of Christians killed in the last 3 or 4 years. Nothing. It's hypocritical. It's dead wrong. Do I still support Trump? Yes. Even if he starts World War III, he's 10 times better than George Bush, Hillary Clinton, or Obama, all combined, or Mitt Romney or John McCain. Still, way better, because he's not insane. He works hard he's proven he's working hard to bring jobs back. He's logical. He wants to fix Obamacare. He wants a wall on the border. He's logical. Whether he gets sucked into the war or not, even if it's a horrible mistake and could ruin his chances of ever being reelected, even if that's true, it still makes him better. He's still better than all the others. So that's not the point. But what the Democrats are going to do is this strategy of them luring Trump into bombing Syria. I believe this was totally planned out, 100%. They've been working on this for months. And I believe John McCain going to the Middle East in the last month was part of it. I have no doubt. John McCain has openly and steadily called for war in Syria. Remove Assad. So has the mainstream media. So have all the neoliberals. So have all the neocons. They've wanted war with Syria. And now they're getting it. See, that's a sure sign it's bad. When Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, John McCain, and all support this war, these bombings. But Marine Le Pen, Nigel Farage, Paul Joseph Watson, Mike Cernovich, Alex Jones, Stephen Molyneux, who I have a lot of faith in, they all oppose it, and many other, and Rand Paul and Ron Paul. So that tells you who do you want to align with. And Paul Joseph Watson brought this point up, so I'm plagiarizing him. But that's that's the point that I was thinking about too. But what the Democrats are going to do, this did throw a stone at their Russian collusion narrative that Trump is colluding with the Russians. But what they're going to do now, and it's coming out, I just watched it on CNN, I have CNN on right here, they're going to now blame Russia for being involved. That's going to go on for months and months and months. We're going to hear Russia knew about it. Russia knew that Syria was going to use this. They're complicit. Bomb them. Because that's the ultimate goal, is a war with Russia. Why would they want a war with Russia? It's hard for people like me and you living in a house in America to understand. But these people in Washington have access to bunkers, all of them. I doubt if there's a single person in the mainstream media or in politics that doesn't have a contingency plan if something like this happened. And it would lower the population so greatly that it would, after it all cleared over, it would bring tremendous opportunity for wealth. It would be like a new frontier, like first coming to America. All this empty land and dead people, I mean, we can get rich off of this. The only problem is with nuclear war, it could be years before that happens. And I'm not sure. I mean, we don't know their plan. We don't know what they're thinking. They obviously aren't afraid of nuclear war. They want it. They've been pushing for it. Dems are going to push that 100%. It's all we're going to hear from CNN for the next month. Russia was involved. And I already said it last night. I don't want to go over it again. But the evidence, the reality, a logical mind shows that Assad would have been stupid to do that, and I don't believe for a minute Assad's stupid. He's a smart man. He didn't get there and stay there without being a smart man. He wouldn't do something that stupid. Of course it was a setup. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that except maybe some libtards and some neocons, people who love war, they love murder. They dream at night about seeing blood run in the streets and America bomb the hell out of people. And they wish they could be there partaking, but they're too cowardly. That's why they're not there. But anyway. But the media is going to keep using this fact that Russia is aligned with Syria, therefore they're responsible, therefore we need to bomb them. I say, hey, if you want to fight Russia, let's call them up on the phone and say, you want to go? Let's go. Let's call it right here, flat, square. We'll count 1, 2, 3, and let's go. That's what they want. Let's do it. Let's die. I don't care. If that's the way they want to be, but the logical, they're not portraying it as being logical, like let's call Russia out. They're willy-wagging around behind the scenes saying, oh, we're forced to bomb Russia. We're forced to do this because of what they did. After all these millions of Christians have been killed and all people all over the world die every day of starvation and nothing is done about it. And Muslim women get beaten and mutilated and no one cares. Ridiculous. The whole reason they're mad at Assad is because he's aligned with Russia. And the fact they want to put that pipeline through. And when they get that pipeline through, they take finances from Russia. They're mad at Russia. It's a total globalist plan at Russia. What's so crazy to me is I can see this so clearly. I've spent so many years studying this. And you're going to see normal, everyday Republicans would watch this and say, this guy's a conspiracy. Are you kidding me? He's a conspiracy theorist. He believes that globalists are out to get us. And the Democrats, they just have a different point of view. They're not out. Are you kidding me? These people have an open plan to destroy us. Some of it conscious, some of it unconscious. It doesn't matter. But playing the whole scenario out over and over, yes, there's things Trump could do to spin this to make it positive. There is. But so many negative things come out of it, I can't imagine it actually turning out to be positive. The mainstream media isn't going to let it. They're not going to let this be positive. They are going to spin the Russian angle that they were involved, that they knew Syria was going to use this, and that's probably how they got Trump to do it. Said, well, they have a deal with the UN not to use chemical weapons. They did. So now, if you don't respond, you're weak. And we know Trump has an ego, and he's smart. And he was smart about doing this. He didn't talk about it. He did it really quickly, efficiently, and with very little collateral damage. So, you know, he's good at what he does. I just believe he's too influenced. You know, Jared Kushner, I don't have any faith in the guy anymore. After Roger Stone came out and said that he was leaking to Joe Scarborough, it very much bothered me. Very much. And Ivanka Trump, I like Ivanka. She supported her dad, but I believe she's a liberal. Die-hard liberal, just like her husband. We can't have him in the White House. We've got to have, Trump should purge the entire White House, hire 4,000 Trump supporters, none with experience. Just hire them off the street and you'd be way better off, or off of YouTube and Twitter. Hire them off of there. You can teach them, at least they're loyal. That's more important than anything else. They'd get a lot more done. But, you know, that's my analysis on the whole thing. You know, how is this going to turn out? A lot of people jumping ship saying we won't support Trump anymore. He said he wouldn't do this. I understand things change, and every human being who doesn't change their mind when they're presented with new information showing they were wrong is an idiot. So we have to leave room for that. That you have to be able to change your mind sometimes. And I don't even hold that against Trump. I just can't see how this is going to pay off in the long run when you have the Democrats that are going to use the Russian narrative. The only way he can win this is if he goes straight over, flies over to visit Putin, and tells the Democrat, comes live on TV press conference, says, I'm not going to accept any more of this Russian narrative. I'm making friends with Vladimir Putin. We want him as an ally, and I'm sorry you don't like it. But that's it. We're not hiding, we're not arguing, we are not defending ourselves anymore. We're going out and doing it. That's how you get them off your back. Let them cry and scream. Do it openly in public. Invite Putin, his whole administration over. Start interconnecting with him as much as possible. Just destroy the narrative. See, it makes sense. It's a smart move. Doesn't matter if you trust them or not. It's a smart move. Gives us leverage. Trump's about leverage. That's what we need to do. That's what he needs to do. And he needs to stop the press conferences at the White House every day. You know, I don't know. I like Sean Spicer, but he should have hired Laura Ingraham. She'd have been better. But he needs to stop those. They need to actively pursue bloggers, YouTubers, Twitterers, all these social media personalities, and start ignoring the mainstream media purposefully, intentionally ignoring them. Let them scream. That's what you need to do to shut them up. Tell them we will not give you another interview until you quit lying and being insane. And I'd be some backlash for that, but I think they could win. I think you could win that story. And every time it comes up, just read the whole list out of what they've done, all the lies they've told, the things they haven't covered they should have covered, the things they covered they shouldn't have covered, you know, the lying by omission. That's what the mainstream media is guilty of, lying by omission, covering what they want to cover. Anyway, that's about it. Video's getting long. Wanted to say that. I do still support Trump because there's no one better to support. And I'll never not be political because that will get me nowhere. If you're not political, then you're never going to get anywhere. We can't give up on the country. If you give up on the country, you give up on life. Remember that. You give up on the country, you give up on life. And remember, we win our battles or we are carried from the field on our shields. So I encourage everyone, don't give up.